And so I really want to encourage you, get truthful and transparent with yourself. You're really going to hear me talk about that a lot, truthfulness and transparency, right? To me, it's truthfulness is this. I want to tell you the whole story without you having to ask me specific things. And I'm going to just let it out there and you do what you do with it. Transparency is saying, oh no, huh, mm-mm. If you felt that about me, let me tell you the real about me. Nope. So as a therapist, I don't have all the answers. I don't always feel like doing therapy with people. I'll go to therapy my own self so I can manage my own life and work through my things because I also need an accountability partner, and a sounding board and somebody to be like, girl, what was you thinking when you was thinking that or you did that? And that's the type of therapist I need, and that's the type of therapist I have. Thank God for her. So I can't stand it when this is all that happens and then I'm not following through. So therefore, if I'm just doing this, then I'm a hypocrite to everything. And that's where the accountability comes in. Because if I say it, I put it out there, I'm asking and I'm praying God about it and everything else. And then he give me the opportunity or I'm praying for it. But then it's like I'm not making the preparation steps to get what I'm asking him for. Then what am I really doing out here? Then I'm thinking he's a genie, right? Because there's no magic creatures. There's no magic creatures out there. It's always God putting us in places that He wants us to be. But we can prolong our waiting seasons when we refuse to do the work. And doing the work is taking a personal accountability for the things that you are asking God for. Or as you're developing, keeping your word, being on time, being ethical, being authentic and genuine, being consistent. So those are some of the things that make you, challenge your personal accountability. But like I keep saying, community as well, because you can do this and you can make it really look good on the outside and don't nobody know. But your community will say, wait a minute, you're not living up to the person I know you to be. Or they can also say, girl, you're being a little too hard on yourself because, ma'am, do you realize you done this, and this? Sit down. It's okay. Sit down. So you may hear me talk about, I've been talking about my community and everything else, and you're like, okay, that's cool, that's good for you, but I don't have one. Or how did you do it? Because everybody is always giving this high level of everything. So break it down. Give me some steps. So how did it start? Right? There's sometimes a push and a pull. So you may be in a season where you have friends, but they aren't on the same journey that you're on. And so you're trying to still stay attached to the past when you have a different future coming. Or you may have already ended the relationships. And now you're just feeling like I'm a lone wolf out here and I'm finding it hard to connect with people. I don't even know how to establish friendships. And also, let's get it clear. I don't trust everybody. And I don't know, if I should trust everybody. Or you're like, okay, I am in a good place, and I have community, but I want to do something different. Will they come along with me? All those are different places, right? But here's the thing. One thing you got to know what you know, and that is, where do you want to go for your future? Where do you feel God is calling you? Has He given you the vision yet? If it is, then see who already is in your community, or even I should say like this, your network, because your network of people is probably going to be more vast than your community of people. And the community of people are the people I'm talking about who you have let into your space in whatever form. They know either the majority of your story, all of your story, or they're open and you're open to sharing and them learning your story, right? Um, when I'm talking about the network, these are people like, hey, you see somebody out like, oh, hey, girl, I see you in a minute. Or, bro, what's going on? That's a network of people, right? So check and see. Let's write it down. Get the vision together, right? Plot it out. Write it down. Say, okay, these are the things that I want to do. These are the things I'm growing towards. These are the things I'm walking away from because they no longer serve me. Then list the people who match where you're going at this point in your life. Okay. Now, if you have those people, and again, it could be in your community or it can be in your network, test it, see it out, pray to God about it. Who are these people for me? Sometimes He'll give you names. I mean, literally would say this person, this person, this person. because that is actually how I got my community. He identified who was supposed to be in my community. It started out with 3 of us first, and then I kept feeling like he was telling me to add one more person, and then he gave me the person's name. Now, another friend in my community said, "Hey, what about this other person? I think she would be great." And I was like, "No, she's too inconsistent." Doesn't mean she a bad person. Let's be very clear. Absolutely beautiful spirit, just very inconsistent. And I felt like God was really calling me for that other person. And sure enough, she fits in. And I mean, we really click and lock. So list it out. Have conversations with people, because sometimes we tend to avoid conflict and confrontation, trying not to hurt people's feelings. But the more distance you create and then ghosting people really hurts their feelings anyway. You just don't want to deal with it. Be accountable and assertive for the things that you want, right? And when I say assertive, get confident in yourself to know that it's okay for me to ask and make a request and make a demand, and allow somebody to either tell me if they can or can't, or where they can feel it, even if they can't feel everything in it. Okay. But have the conversation and be truthful and transparent and just say, "Hey, I am not feeling like what we used to do is calling me anymore. It doesn't identify with me. It's disturbing my spirit, honestly. And I'm getting called to a higher level. And so these are the things that I'm going to be working on." Now, if you can accept this and you can encourage it, I'm not even saying you got to do everything the same, but if you can accept it and you can encourage it, and, again, don't feel afraid to call me out if I'm not living up to what I'm supposed to be doing, then you might be on this journey with me. But if you cannot, I'm going to wish you well and thank you for the presence you were in my life and the lessons that you taught me while we were supposed to be connected in this manner. And listen, I know that sometimes that can be a very difficult conversation, a scary conversation, right? Because a lot of times we don't want to have that level, because then it's like now we're giving people either an exit or a stay pass, right? And then also there's the fear of what's get to the other side. So how am I able to have that conversation with people? And I'll put it at like this, and I hope that it really connects with you as you're listening. If God has planted a seed in me for something, and you may have experienced this, but there have been times in the past where I know that I'm supposed to be doing something different. I don't know what it is, but it's like this feeling in the pit of my gut that I am supposed to be doing something different. But also, I'm trying to stay connected with the people that I was dealing with, and they were nowhere near where I was trying to go at all. But I allowed my fear and comfortability at the time to hinder me from taking the faith walk, because I always felt like, well, I don't know what's going to be on the other side. And I'm going to tell you, most of the time you won't. So either you're going to see the outcome and you're not going to know the steps, or you're going to get a step and never know what the outcome is until you get there. You're not going to get it all. So let's just be real clear. And I know as humans, we want to have everything together. But guess what? Get over it. It's not going to happen. However, when I get there, then it seems like God's opening all these doors, adding new people and different things like that. But also understanding that when you're going through these transitionary periods with God, where you're going from step to step, phase to phase, whatever to whatever, right? There's going to be times where He is going to pull you away so you can get quiet. So remember, we talked about getting quiet. So He can talk to you. He can download what He wants you to know in this season to be able to move forward. And then from those steps, He'll add everything as long as you're obedient to it, right? And again, I keep talking about this accountability thing. Your obedience is better than sacrifice to God. He honors obedience over sacrifice. And if you ever want to get an example of somebody who's gone through it, just read the Bible. I don't care if you just open up the Bible and just boom, go to any, there's going to be somebody there who has had to leave behind everything they knew and gone into a walk with God and a territory, a season with God, that they didn't know nothing, but He provided everything. One of the examples I always love, because she gets a bad rap in the Bible, is Rahab. Everybody think that she was oldest prostitute and everything else. However, when Joshua and Caleb came to her and she hid them. She was disconnecting it from everything that she knew, because some people call her a prostitute. She also was called a high priestess in her religion, her city, and things like that. And so, whether you choose either one, she was on the outskirts of town, okay? And in that moment, she had to make a choice and a decision. She had two people come in. She had never met these men a day in her life, but she knew exactly who they were. And she said, "Okay, I'm going to help you. I'm going to hide you." And they said, "If you betray us, you're going to be dead." And she said, "No, no, no, I won't." But what she did was, when she disconnected from her old life, her old way of thinking, everything that she knew, the comfortability and all those things, she had high connections with the government in her city and everything else. That's how she was able to get information to fill it to the two that came to her, right? But she had to step away from that. And in that one decision, she stepped away, but she also asked for her own blessing. If I do this for you, when you come back, because she knew it was going to happen, when you come back, you save me and my family. So she even still looked out for the people who were going to disown her anyway. And by doing that, she left the old behind. She walked into this new life. God blessed her with a husband who was a prince. So she became a princess, and she was in the lineage of Jesus. So I'm saying, using her as an example, we have also Abraham as an example. Literally, God told him to leave where he was and follow him and leave and take him to another area. And then he told him to look up and say, "Can you count the number of stars? These are the number of descendants that will come from you." But what did he have to do in both of those instances? They had to leave what they knew. Those other people were not on the part of their journey with them. And God had to take them into a space where he could really work with them, sit down with them, down low with them, and everything else, and then get them um, ready for the next step. And each step, Rahab and Abraham, were completely transformative in their lives and in the history of this world. So you got to understand that even you may not be one of those people going on the history book, but guess what? Everybody will have a legacy. Everybody will have a legacy. But here's the thing, you're also living this life now. Are you willing to stay the same and be in all discomfort, dis-ease, and all the other disses? Or are you willing to say, "Okay, God, I know you're calling me to different. So now I got to have this conversation. I got to get my community together for right now, and then take the step."